I'm winning the war on terror every day I stay alive. My dad was in the Air Force, so he moved around a lot, and then he retired from South Dakota, and I went most of my elementary school and high school in Arizona. You know, I just knew college wasn't really a good fit for this guy, and I was gonna be setting myself up for failure. So the military was just kind of, nah, give this a shot. It's working at a rifle range, and I was a primary marksmanship instructor, and the EOD range was also out there. So these guys would come out and do these disposals, and it'd just be one of those things where, heck yeah, who doesn't want to come over and see an explosion? So we'd go over there, stop what we were doing, they'd blow some stuff up, and then I just started talking with them. I was like, I want in. And from that day on, I submitted to be screened. They screened me. I got a school seat at NAV School EOD, and then I graduated May of 2006 as a basic EOD technician. And I think I'd been in the Marine Corps at that point 6 or 7 years before my first deployment, and that was to Iraq, and I think that was 2007. Being from the desert in Arizona, Iraq was very similar. You know, the heat was dry, which always reminded me of Arizona. Obviously the buildings are different, but the environment felt the same. The heat smelled the same. Iraq was one of those scenarios where we had an opportunity to see these huge, large vehicle-based IEDs, and then we also had artillery rounds, and we also had the IEDs. So we had a huge spectrum of things that we were working on. I will never forget, one day we get called out to a compound, and there's this huge dump truck with a tarp over it. And I remember going over to the dump truck and pulling off the tarp, and there were these 55-gallon drums that were laying on their side, and it were all improvised charges. It could just point basically the side of the vehicle, I want to say it was the driver's side of the vehicle, at a building, and it probably would go away. I'll never forget, my team leader was like, how do you guys think we should blow this up? And I was like, I think we should prime in. Like one blasting cap. And guess what? It's like we get the opportunity to see this vehicle the way that it's set up, then we can see it, we can blow it up, and then we can conduct the post blast. You know, to where it's like, okay, this makes sense. We've got an elongated debris field. Geek out bomb style, you know, bomb tech style, geek out. That was one of many instances that was, oh my gosh, I can't believe. What a great day to get up today, you know? I wanted to be able to take stuff apart. I wanted to have the knowledge and things like that to be able to exploit these things that these enemies that were putting out there to try to hurt us. And also I got the opportunity to just, you know, once I'm all done and all the evidence is collected and documented, boom, blow them all up. You know, that sort of adrenaline rush was it for me. It was, this is what I was born to do. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. So we get this call on the very edge of our AO, an area that we never typically go, and an area that channelizes us through this abandoned area, basically an IED mecca. We get in these canals, we go out in this middle of nowhere we've never been before. There's this road, and then there's these roads, I'd say these walls that were about 3 feet high, and it was channeling you to take this road to where you couldn't really walk on the sides of the road, you had to walk in the road. I start to sweep way off the road, and I sweep along these paths, and I come over basically to the wall, and I sweep over the wall, everywhere I can sweep with my metal detector. This IED is in an ant pile. I had never seen that before. And what was really cool about that, being the bomb technician, the spy versus spy mentality, when I kick over an ant pile, the next day that ant pile's back to normal. There's no disturbed earth. And who's gonna put that in an ant pile? I would step on an ant pile in a heartbeat. You know, I was like, that would be safe, in my opinion. So I find this thing in an ant pile, I start to take it apart. This pressure plate's only got 1 battery. That don't make sense either. You could tell it was booby trapped because there was something not right about it, the way they wrapped it. This one was completely clean. I was like, weird, fresh, in an ant pile, 1 battery. Something's different. So all of these things are really registering, pinging. At the end of my rope, I remove the pressure plate. I try to cut, remove the pressure plate, and remotely remove the device from its emplacement to mitigate any type of anti-disturbance stuff. So I feel at the end of my rope that I get some good movement on this jug. So we wait, make sure it doesn't have some sort of time release, something or other on there. We walk back down. It looks like the jug's been pulled out of the earth and kind of fell back in. And then the second I go to grab it, that's when it detonates. I actually wake up right before I hit the ground. I didn't ever hear the explosion. It was like, and then on my back, smelling explosives everywhere. Obviously, something went south. And I was like, hey, my guys are on top of me in no time. So at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm a quad because I can't assess myself. The only thing I can do is really run my tongue over my teeth and be like, oh, I got all my teeth. And then my combat lifesaver stuff kicks in and it's like, I got my open airways because these motherfuckers are coming with like everything. And I'm like, I can breathe, I can talk, my airways are clear. From that date, March 14, 2011, I was outpatient at Naval Medical Center San Diego in Balboa about 30 days after. So outpatient, like I wasn't running around in prosthetics, I was in a wheelchair, but in and out. I was able to be a positive person and it completely shaped my recovery. And it was also one of those things that was heartbreaking because I see these guys that are just as messed up as I am and they're not getting the same care that I am because they're angry and they're mean and they're this and they're that, you know, and it's like, I didn't want to take anything away from you, man, but you're taking stuff away from yourself, you know? And it's like, you rate to be angry, but nobody wants to hang around your angry ass, you know? That transition ended, and I would say my most difficult transition, besides from being a patient, was transitioning from being a bomb technician to something else. And that's kind of where the hunting community really focused me. So I saw everything in hunting that I loved in the military with nothing that I didn't like. And that really focused me in where I'm at today. The opportunity that I received to go hunting for the first time was actually out of the hospital. So I was putting in my effort and they asked me, it's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to go on a bear hunt. There was an amazing opportunity to go to British Columbia on a spot and stock bear hunt. And I got that opportunity, and once again, I knew from then on that I was going to be a lifelong hunter. And I get all these other opportunities as well to touch people's lives. And I appreciate the ability, I appreciate the voice, you know, and that your production is giving me, and anything that, I just appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and anything I can hopefully keep people from killing themselves, because it's like the biggest tragedy. You know, just those guys in Iraq and Afghanistan were trying to kill themselves to kill us, and then we come home and finish the job. I try to live every day in exact opposition to what they would want me to do, which is be happy, enjoy myself, you know, enjoy all the freedoms that we get to enjoy here, and then I will go to sleep and I will do that again tomorrow and the next day for as long as I can. I'm winning the war on terror every day I stay alive.